Hello, my friend, wherever you are. I'm sending you love, the power of positivity, and vitamin D, baby. You can see coming from that way and to this way and to that way. Welcome to the Gazillionaires Club, my friend. And today I want to share with you, encounter with police officer during my trip. Well, first of all, we are still in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I'm still waiting for my package from Amazon because they delivered it to USPS on last Wednesday and Thursday. Today's Sunday, by the way, July 17th or something like that. But they are not open on Sunday, so I gotta be here. I went on Saturday. The manager wasn't there. They couldn't track down the package, so I'm like, okay, we'll just hang out at the park. I've been at this park for like 5 days. And I'm like, okay, my friend, the first encounter was, remember that video where I forgot which state. I believe that was in Montana. But remember when I said there was a video and it was super cloudy, and it's like I said in the video, I feel like there is going to be a storm, and I ended up staying at the gas station, and apparently after that there was a storm. Now, it wasn't like an official encounter, but I was at that parking lot for 2 days, right? Because I was just parking there because it was a truck stop, and nobody was there during the day. So I was just chilling. I was like, I'm not in a hurry. I don't have to go anywhere. Cha-ching, bitch! I'm rich! So I was just chilling. I even went into the gas station because I did fill up my pump, and I went in there and I asked, hey, can I spend another night here? Because, I feel like there's going to be it's overcasting, and I think there might be a storm. And if the sun comes out, then, I will leave. And then I stayed there, till the next morning. And then there was a cop circling around. He didn't approach me, but I knew he was looking at the car because I was the only car in the parking lot, and he parked like right behind me. What? But that was my first encounter. The other one was at Fort Peck, which is in Montana, near Glasgow. And when I was down there and I met the story with Mike and Gina, there was a sheriff. His name is Jesse, and I think he's about in his 25 to 30, around there. But he was a really nice guy. Every day, well, not every day, I was there for like a week, and he came out at least 4 or 5 times. On the last day, we didn't get to say goodbye, but he was pretty cool. I kind of noticed, sheriff or police officer in a smaller town, they are much more friendly because, when you live in a town, almost all people know all people. And, don't be surprised if you go into a town, I've had it done to me a couple of times, where I would stay in a town and cars would be circling around. And then I even talked to some of the people there, some of the town that I've been to. I even spoke to them, and they were like, they probably ran your license plate already, which is normal because in a town, people look out for each other. So I'm pretty sure my license plate been run numerous times, but as long as you're not doing anything wrong, it should be okay. It's for the protection of the town, and just they want to know who you are, what are your intention. Are you just passing by, traveling through, whatever your intention or intentions are? At least they have an idea. Can you be my mentor? Can you be my mentor? I would do anything. Today I've been here for like I said, I've been here for like more than 5 days, right? Every day I parked the RV and I put out the hammock and I was just chilling with boy, you know. But today I was like in the car cooking lunch, and then there were two police officers circling around the park, especially in my area, and I was like, what's going on? So, you know, and then he started coming over to the hammock where I have my radio, the hammock and my radio, because I usually like just listen to the radio, or I write poetry when I'm on the hammock or just chilling. So I came out there, I was like, hey officer, that, you know, that's my stuff there. And then he was like, did you call 911? I was like, no, I didn't, you know. And he was like, yeah, we're just like responding to a 911 call. And I was like, oh yeah, you know. And then I was like, yeah, those are just my stuff. I just want to let you know, and I'm just here to have lunch. And yeah, so that's, you know, I didn't say much. But then after that, they just kind of left. So I think somebody did call 911. But you know, in a small town, it's you know, I can understand why police officers are much more friendlier than in the city, because in the city, imagine there are bad citizens too, okay? And when these people are on a job, their life is on the line. But with that being said, you know, that's why police officers in the city are more, like, they are more protective, more, man, what is that word? More, I wouldn't say not friendly, they're just more protective. So they put on this, you know, this hard masculine, look. So, and I can understand why. But then, you know, if you are a police officer and you are on a power trip because, you know, you're constantly being paranoid, that's really also bad for the people too. So there's somewhere along the line, somewhere we have to draw the line between citizen and officer. But, you know, I haven't, that's the stuff that I notice when I travel on the road. Like, you know, police officers, like even small towns, interstate patrol, they're much more nicer. Like, they're just like, because I guess they don't have to deal with a lot of bullshit, right? So that's why they're much more nicer, much more calm. In the city, you never know. There are so many crazy people in the city, so they're just doing their job. And then sometimes, you know, we see like videos where cops or police officers are hurting citizens because they're on a power trip. Con, I'm perfect. How can it be me, Con? And that's a whole different story. So those are just some of my, you know, like experiences that I've been, that I have encountered since I'm on the road. And you know, what are your take on it? Even when I was living in Seattle, there was a couple of times, there were twice. One time I parked at a handicap space, and the cop came out, and it was 7-Eleven, you know, over at Alkine, and it was like around 9 or 10, and he was just mad. He was flipping. But then, you know, I tried to be polite because I know I was at fault. You know, I shouldn't have parked in that handicap spot. So he asked for my license, my registration, but his tone of voice, it was just like, I'm gonna give you a ticket. I'm gonna, like, yeah, it's tone of voice, but I'm gonna give you a ticket. You know, you better not talk back to me kind of attitude. But I kept my cool. I stayed calm. I was like, I provided all the registration, and I apologized. Because I shouldn't have parked in that spot. And he became cool and calm, and he was like, I'm gonna let you off with a warning. The other time, I was driving for an Uber, and because, you know, it's like when you drive for an Uber, you kind of have to look at the map, and then sometimes, you know, because it's you have to multitask, right? Sometimes the client, they would come from different direction of the car, like on the left or right, and sometimes at an intersection, like it's, yeah. But anyways, I was driving slow, especially, I don't think I was driving slow at all, like 25, 30 on a like broad, like it was like, you know, close to Broadway, the Broadway area of Seattle. And out of nowhere, like when the client got in, I would go in like 25, 30. Out of nowhere, he would just like cut right in front of me, like went on the left hand, and there were two lanes, right? I was on the right hand lane, and then he like cut right in front of me, and then kind of stopped me, pull over, and he got out. He was really mad. And the reason why he pulled me over, because I kind of made a turn. I was going, but I was going slow, so I kind of like, like blocking his way. He was flipping out. He was like, I could have arrested you right now. And I was like, I'm sorry, officer. I have a client in the back. I'm driving for Uber, and I didn't know I was cutting you off. He got so mad, and but I stay calm because, like, I mean, you don't. What can you do, right? And then he was like, license and registration. I was like, okay, license and registration. So I gave him the paper, my license, my registration, and stuff like that. And I apologized. And then after that, we, he's cool. He let me go with a warning. He's like, don't ever do that again. I was like, okay, I'm sorry. If life happened to you, or life happened for you, and then there was a client, like, well, the customer, the Uber, he was like, yo, he was flipping out. You could have talked back. I was like, it's okay, because first of all, I don't see the point. And sometimes it's not even about having a badge. Sometimes, when a person is mad, the point is not to react. It's to, like, okay, if they're just doing their job, right? If we understand that, then I think it's much easier on whoever is doing their job, or what kind of role they're playing, even from day-to-day communication. Sometimes when like, I'm not at that point yet. Sometimes I remember one time I was walking past the light rail, and I was walking and this dude, he was just like throwing his the can of Coke, or a can of soda, and I was like, bro, what the fuck, man? Sometimes I do get mad, but then at the same time, like I try to control it. I try to control it. Not all situation we can control it, but if we can be aware of it, then it will make the situation much easier. Like, communication rather than reaction. So I mean, so far I don't have any problem with, like, and one more story before we go, but there was one. This was also in Seattle, but I remember one time I was driving with a expired license tab. I was on the bridge of Beacon Hill, right? The police officer pulled me over, but this guy's like super nice. At that time, I was, there was like this major issue going on with cops and how we should know our rights, and shouldn't roll down the window and start talking to them. If they ask to search for your car, you should always say no. Blah blah blah. Don't be a dumb bitch. Anyways, I got pulled over because I had an expired tab, and then when he pulled me over, I only rolled down the window like this much because because sometimes you don't want to roll down the window. You don't want to roll the window all the way down. That's what I've learned from YouTube. Be really careful, okay? When you learn stuff, you kind of have to use common sense as well. You don't want to create that distance between, or you don't want to create like that distance between you and the officer. You kind of have to play it out in a way where be polite, be respectful. So I kind of rolled down the window a little bit, and he was like, do you know why I pull you over? And I was like, oh no. And he was like, you have an expired tab. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go get the tab right away. And then he was like, make sure you go get the tab. And then he just kind of let me off, and I kind of like, I said thank you, and I went and I got the tab. So not all situations are bad. I mean, there's still it pretty much sometimes people react, or they act the way that they do, maybe because you don't know what kind of situation they've been in. But if we can be calm and and respond in a polite way, in a polite manner, then it will be okay. About 90% of the time it's gonna be okay. It's kind of like if you're being polite to someone, I mean, chances of someone being rude to you, it's very minimal. I'm not saying that's not gonna happen, but it's very minimal, right? But if somebody is polite to you and you're rude to them, chances are they're gonna be rude to you. But I think it's all human psychology. I think I said that right. If somebody is nice to you and you're rude to them, most likely they won't even want to engage with you. But if you're rude to people, chances are people are gonna be rude to you. So just human nature, human psychology, communication. So my friend, share me your stories. What are your encounters with police officers? Like, Are you on the good side, the bad side? Because I feel like a lot of the time, like with this whole defunding the police and how like cops are murdering black people. Sometimes I could think, the news, it's way out of proportion. They only like report stories that that fit the narrative, and I think it's create that the divisiveness in America, like like teaching people that cops are bad. All I'm saying is citizens are bad. There are good citizens and bad citizens. There are bad cops and good cops, okay? And if we create in the mind of the people that police officers are bad, imagine if we defund the police and there are no police force, right? What happened if people go rogue? Who would you call? And be really careful, okay? Because if we are going to live in a society, there has to be law and order. There has to be rules. There has to be laws, and it's kind of like a family. I'm pretty sure every household there are rules that you follow. Otherwise, everybody can do whatever they want to do. I mean, that's so medieval. So share me your story. #Gazillionaires Club, and I will see you in the next video, my friend. Ta-da!